Hey, it's your pal Terry Bean back with another fun and exciting episode of Business Growth Time. Today, our guest is Dr. Paula Ruffin. She is a holistic practitioner, a chiropractor to the stars, and just an amazing community person. So we're going to hit on a little bit of growing your business through community. We're going to grow through a little bit of membership site. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're probably going to sneak a wellness tip or three out of her. But before we properly introduce Paula, let me say hi to my good friend, longtime pal, high school buddy, and social marketing marketer extremist, Janet E. Johnson, where I guess, you know what, I kind of spilled my wad, right? We just used the E. Yeah, like it. So we're going to get flipping extreme up in here today, and I am rather excited about it.
That was good. Janet? You just naturally flowed into that E word. That was good. I liked it.
So much easier when I do that, as opposed to actually have to look around and hope that there's an E word floating around in my room somewhere. It never happens. That never happens.
No, but somehow you come up with it. Well, awesome. No, thank you. Yes, it's good to be back on. We haven't done a podcast in a few weeks, so.
I know. Isn't that crazy? We've gotten lax. It's almost like one of us is working and the other one is
we both gotten lax, so I have to remind you.
That's it. So yeah, just, you know how to just drag me in, kicking and screaming, and I'll go. So let me properly do my best to introduce our guest. And I'll be candid. Paula found out that she was going to be on this show about 12 hours ago. No, that's ridiculous. It's 11:43 right now. So it was really more like 15 hours ago, maybe
15 hours.
Yeah, that's totally different. So
I have zero excuses for not preparing.
Yeah, well, I was going to use most of those excuses anyway. So, although if I'm being honest, I don't know that I've ever really prepared for this show. So,
I've seen it like
why we get along so well.
I think he's had twice where he's had a list and he's been ready.
Some notes.
Yeah, that's it. And it was the one where I was actually the featured guest on the show. So I had to maybe think about it for a second. We've only done that like 30 times. So Paul and I met a couple of years ago, and she's one of those people that just has that rock star energy. She's great at what she does. She can communicate like a just a master. She knows the wellness industry forward, backwards. She's been practicing it for over 20 years. We won't say how many years over 20. We'll just say over 20, 23. You know what's funny, I was going to say 22 or 23, so yeah. I would have nailed it.
And not bad for a 29-year-old, right?
Which is not bad at all. It's weird when people start at 7 years old.
I know.
It takes all that time to get through school. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Great client base, and she's in this cool little town called New Hudson, Michigan. So she's also a neighbor of mine, and our kids go to high school together, and we randomly found that out during parent-teacher conferences when we were like, the hell are you doing here? Like we couldn't have thought through that a little better. But all the good stuff, Dr. Paula Ruffin, I'm probably just going to call you Paula, but I'm excited that you're here. So we want to talk a little bit about marketing and membership and growing a business, because ultimately the topic's always business growth time. But let's get into your background a little bit, and let's start with that why question. Like, of all the things that you're very well-educated, smart, University of Michigan type person could have gotten into, how did it end up being chiropractic work? You were early, kind of 22 years ago. You're on that early holistic train.
Well, you would think early, right? So if I could have a conversation with my younger self, when you talk about, I didn't know what to do with my life. And at how old was I? 26, 7 years old, sitting on my grandmother's couch. And my sister says to me, I'm feeling like a loser at 27 years old because I don't have my life figured out, and I'm not like 10 years into a career. You just go, nobody has it figured out then, right? But somehow I thought I should have had it figured out. And my sister just said, have you thought about chiropractic? And I was like, no. And you have to understand my background. Going back to high school, I've always been an athlete. I was always interested in healthy eating, being active, just living a really good lifestyle. doesn't mean I didn't have a few beers in high school, but we won't talk about that right now. So, but my friends used to tease me because they would come over and I always had this gigantic tumbler of water that, like, I didn't really drink pop. Like, I was always just trying to do things for health and wellness. And then
We all have our waters.
I know. Yes. Yay. So when I got it into U of M, I went into exercise physiology. I worked at Domino's Farms at their wellness center. I was super interested in corporate wellness. I worked for in the U of M obesity clinic. I helped people with weight loss programs, with nutrition. So I was doing all of this stuff really young. And then I got out and I, became a certified personal trainer and a spinning instructor and aerobics instructor. So it's just this path I've always been on. And I ended up, there was a thought of physical therapy in there, and I worked in PT for 5 years. And that was just a very political field to get into. It's you don't particularly get in on your merit as much as how much money you spend at the particular college and how long you've been there, which is what I found out. So that was a little disheartening because I knew I should have been there, but in the grand scheme of things, as we all know, that was not what was meant for me. So I applied to chiropractic college after that, sitting on my grandmother's couch that summer with my sister, and they called me, and 3 weeks later, they said, if you complete these classes by the fall, you can start in January. And that was January of 95. And I was sitting in that chair on the first day of orientation. And the woman who does the orientation, she says, the first chiropractic adjustment was given on September 18th, 1895. And I said, oh my God, that's my birthday. So I was like, bang, this is where I need to be. So that's how I ended up here. And again, it was just part of the path that I had been on. And I love it because I also was able to then really craft where I started to where I am now. And I always knew that I wanted nutrition to be a part of that. That was an evolution. And I've gotten some certifications along that route. And so here we are 23 years later, and I practice full functional medicine as well as chiropractic, and just helping change lives every single day. And I have to tell you guys, it is some days, and people come in and they'll tell me, my little 11-year-old softball pitcher, and every week she comes in and she's like, I gained another mile an hour on my pitch, and she's like ecstatic because she couldn't even like pitch when she came in 3 months ago. So I look at things like that and I go, man, I changed the direction of this kid's future. It's just, so sometimes I'm still in awe of what I'm doing. And after 23 years to be able to have that, like, holy crap, this is awesome. I love what I do, because the stories change like that, but they're always moving in that direction. And it's mind blowing to me. Even though I've been doing it for this long, it still blows my mind that I can help change people's lives like that. So I'm in a great place.
Exciting to be able to have that kind of impact and that you can see it in real time.
Yeah.
But listen, if your birthday's September 18, 1895, and you're 126 years old, you have the ability to see that stuff through that kind of wisdom.
Right. Well, see, this is what good, healthy lifestyle does for you.
That's it. If there was ever a testament to the power of chiropractic, it would be this.
Ick. Let's say it's ick. Chiropractic.
Chiropractickery. Okay,
ick.
got it. That's not it. Oh, my bad. Hey, Janet.
Can I call you names on this podcast?
You tell me it's not.
Or do you?
Barry usually changes his name on his little.
Oh, does it? Okay, yeah.
God, we haven't done that for a while. That was so fun. You know what? We're doing that right with the nuts. Hey, Janet, have you ever visited a chiropractor?
Yeah, many times. I have a bad back, bad neck. I don't go to one currently. I have one. I just haven't seen him recently, but yes, many times, and my children too. Yeah.
Okay.
So yep. And my son has
That's a beautiful thing.
Really bad back problems right now. So bad that he did an MRI last week. He's a
Aw.
worker outer, he's a buff dude. Not right now because he can't even work out, but I mean, he's still buff, but I think he lifted wrong over the years, and he's only 22 and he's already got major problems. So scary. Yeah. But he went to the chiropractor and they couldn't fix him any more further than, so they actually now have
Oh, wow.
to the doctor. So
Yeah.
so it's kind of crazy, but I do, even when they were babies, I took them to the chiropractor. So yeah, I believe in, I'm similar to you. I was an aerobics instructor too. So that's kind of funny. I went down that
Yeah,
natural path,
we
and
like
all
each
that kind
other.
of stuff. And here I am. I sit all day on the computer now. I don't know what happened. I have no idea, but I still work out every day. And Terry's the same way. Like, we sit a lot, but we definitely get our workouts in.
So I'm curious why I would tell somebody to take their kids to the chiropractor, but why did you take your babies to the chiropractor?
I can't remember why I took the babies to the chiropractor because they're 22 and 16 now. So I don't even remember the reasoning. I think it was just preventative type thing. Actually, the one that has the back issues now had RSV as a baby. He had a lot of medical issues as a baby. So I think there was something with that, but I can't even remember now. So what's your reasoning to tell people to take their, do the preventative or bring babies?
Well, I think when babies are born, they come out, it's such a traumatic thing to come out of the birth canal. And so, they're tucked in the womb for however many months, and then they come out of the birth canal. Oftentimes, I've seen babies with broken collarbones, they have torticollis, their necks are locked in place, or they have colic, which is just excessive crying and spitting up. Maybe they won't latch. And so many times that's an issue because when they pull them out of the birth canal, they cause disruption of how the bones are aligned in the neck. In fact, there's so much stress when you pull the baby out, even with the contractions from mom, that they have to turn the head and then shove the shoulder and then pull the baby through. So it creates this like tractioning, and then you're twisting, and then oftentimes those little bones don't get realigned. So as chiropractors, we just do these little gentle, people are like, oh my God, why would you do that to a baby? But I'm like, it's not the same adjustment that you get. Ripping the baby's head off. Like we are trained to do this, and in fact, like I would adjust Terry, I'd adjust you very different than I'd adjust Janet. So it's how we're trained to know the difference. And then people will say, well, oh, but they were born C-section. I'm like, well, even worse, because in a C-section, there's more stress coming up this way because you don't have contractions pushing the baby out. So there's even more traction on the neck. And in that case, they end up using the forceps or the vacuum to get the baby out. So even more stress on their spine. So
is it a Dyson or a Shark or a Hoover? What kind of it?
It's literally like a suction cup, and then it's called vacuum extraction. Right?
Crazy. And on the list of things I thought we were going to talk about, that was nowhere near it. Not even close, right? So wow, women.
I like Terry, your last name now. So
yes, thank you.
I should change mine to Bean.
No, you don't have to do that. It's my joke, not yours, Dr. Paula Ruffin.
Got it. Okay.
Take it easy.
Let's change the topic a little bit because I am very interested to hear what you're thinking and for the membership. Like, because I know I've even talked to a chiropractor locally to me, and he was doing something too, but then we lost contact, so I haven't heard what he ended up doing, but he was working on something online, of course, during COVID. There's it's been crazy times, so people are moving their business online. So I'm curious to hear what you're thinking and what you're planning on for a membership.
Let's see, did I lose you? You guys got me here?
We got you.
All right, cool. You froze for 1 second. So currently I have a membership. I have two membership groups. One I created last year, and the one I just created last week for the community. So they're two very different things, and I can speak to that and why everybody should have a private group. Just from the get-go, your private group allows you to start to have greater connection with people. So, and you're a social media, what'd you call her, extremist? So you know that it's very difficult for people to see what you do unless, if it's a business page. So unless you post it or boost it, a paid ad, whatever that is. So groups allow you.
That's my expertise. Just FYI.
Okay, good. Yes. I got that from extremists. So I figured, So the group, so I have a free group right now, 2 free groups. And I'll just use the group for New Hudson Chiropractic. So what I do is I'm funneling people in there, new patients, people from the community. I'm doing workshops. So when they come to the workshop, I tell everybody, go in, join this group. We're going to be dropping content. And so I do snippets on health and wellness in there. I streamed one of my workshops live into that group. So I'm just starting to load up the content in there. I'm also then going to take, and last year when I was doing all kinds of interviews, and Terry did an interview with me, so I was putting those in there as well. So any content that I was revolving around health, wellness, and even business, because I have a lot of business people in there. Those groups then allow you to do other things. So my current plan, now I have this free group, and so then my current plan is to start doing like, let's say, instead of an hour workshop that I would stream in from my office, which I could do this with that, but I'm thinking a little bit more strategic, like a 20 or 30-minute segment, drop 10 to 15 minutes of it in the free group, and then do a $9 group. Hey, if you guys want the rest of this, jump on over into the paid group. So now I'm going to start to funnel people over into that paid group. Then I'll grow that group. But so then instead of creating 2 sets of content, you're taking the same content and you're just splitting it up, which to me, and it sounds like, Janet, you're very similar in that we have a lot of shit to do, right? So like, I don't want to create 2 sets of content. So if I create one and I just go boom, boom, now I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And then that $9 group eventually becomes a $19 group eventually. So you don't create several groups. Now you've got your paid group, you're pulling your initial people in there, and you just, over time, as it starts to grow and build and you get more content in there, you can just slowly raise that price.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. I like the concept, and I do pretty similar. But one of the things that, so from what I'm hearing, so one of the recommendations in how I do it, and you might do it the same, in the free group, you give the what you should do. When they get to the paid group, you give the how to do it. So like, for instance, when I'm doing my free group stuff, I'll show them, here's what I'm doing. Here's like, you can even do slide presentations and you show the what. Even when I do all my presentations, my speaking thing, I show the what, teeny touch of how. But when people become members, I dive, like, I'll open my ads manager, because I teach the Facebook and Instagram ad stuff. So I will open up that ads manager and I'll fully demo everything. They won't get the demos unless they're part of the paid. Does that make sense? So it's the what in
100%.
So just for our audience, you might be doing this already, but for our audience to understand, the what should be the free, the paid should be the how.
Yeah.
I'd add that you want to make
Exactly.
sure you're telling them a little bit of the why too, because it's always important to get people involved in the why they should do it, because that's what keeps the momentum and keeps them coming back to keep doing it, right? So love that stuff. And you can trip that in with the free, right? So it gives you an additional contact point and content point. And then you can also go deeper into it in the paid group too, right? And really, kind of tease it out a little bit. So love that.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I did. Yeah, I definitely do the why also, because that's very important to, the what isn't important unless they understand why they should be doing it.
Yeah, and I think I've got enough content from previous that is not quite structured like that, but it makes more sense to make sure that the structure is like that going forward. But I'm going to take all of my previous content and I'm going to load it in just that way. Part of it in the free group, and then pull people into the paid group. I'm giving myself, this is like my own personal 30-day challenge. So I'm giving myself 30 days to have the whole structure of my paid group. So by May 1st, I'm going live with the paid group. So I'm going to build out all of these little pieces of it. But what I'm excited about is I'm saying stock my pond. So my free group is going to be my pond. And those people already know me and love me, and I'm putting all this stuff in from the community. And then when I have something that I want them to do or sell or buy, or now it's like, I'm just going into the pond and I'm bringing them forward. So this is my rapport building pond, and people resonate with me. They already want to be with me or part of what I'm doing. Those are the people that I want. So that's how I started, when we talk about ideal client and, your target market and all of those things. I'm like, well, what if I just built my pond with a whole bunch of people that I want to work with eventually? They might not be ready today. Maybe they're ready a year from now. Maybe some people ready yesterday, but they're in the pond. So that's my strategy over the next
sense. And people that have handed you a credit card already for some reason or another, there's two folds to that, are the ones that are more likely to buy again. So, and then you're building that community. And the paid group, the paid group makes a lot of sense because that's where you can go to an upsell. But the other thing is, I have a $4.99 group. I've been in for 6 months now, and I don't even use it. But it's $4.99.
Right.
So it's like I got lazy I'm like, I keep going, I should cancel that because I'm not using it. But I mean, those small, low costs are a no-brainer for a lot of people. Yeah. And I mean, hopefully they use it, but I'm just saying the thing is, even, people might just keep paying and go, oh yeah, I'll use that someday, and they'll just keep paying for it anyway, because it's such a low cost.
Well, in that model, right, similar to what Paula was talking about, it was $4.99 when it started or when you started, but that doesn't mean if you quit tomorrow, you can come back at $4.99, right? The price of poker usually goes up. So Janet, you've done this a couple of times. So what, and I don't know if you can prescribe anything, but based on what you've heard in terms of where Paula is, she's got this 30-day challenge. What were some of the biggest things that you were like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming when I decided to put this together? So much content, so much logic.
I learned a lesson on my last launch. So I did a launch, but it was a higher price point, obviously much bigger price point. And with that launch, what I did was a 4-day deep dive challenge type thing, but it was 4 days. And what I did notice is a drop off in the people. So I think it depends on how engaged you get them, but man, did I try. I mean, I tried to get people engaged. So I had people, like a lot of people on the first call, and then, it dropped in half on the second. It was crazy. My numbers were so low, I was shocked. So, and this is just transparency. I realized, so then I just went, okay, I scrambled. I went, I'm in the middle of a launch. I want more people to, join me. So I did a one-time recap of the 4 days, and I had way more people attend that one day. So I know a lot of people do these challenges, and I know they have success with it. My audience, it didn't work for. So the next time I do a launch, it will be a one masterclass, not a whole. So one of the things I recommend to my clients, because I'm working with a lot of launch people right now, is I do feel 30 days is a little long. So I do, if you're doing a 30-day challenge, I don't know what you're going to be going into, but if it's a 30-day challenge, or I say, if you could do 5, maybe 15 max, that's the biggest challenge I think you want to do.
what I heard was she's doing a 30-day challenge to get her membership program. It's an internal challenge. She's not doing it for
Yes.
clients. She's doing it for
It's
her.
just, yeah.
So what are you
I'm
doing?
giving
now?
myself 30 days to have the structure planned out.
Okay, got it. So what are you doing though to give the push? Do you have like an email list currently? I'm assuming you do.
I'm building it.
Okay.
So currently building my list. I'm doing that through the workshop. So people are coming in the office, we're grabbing their name, their phone number, email that way. And then I've got a lot of people and they'll say, I can't come. Can you do a virtual? And I'm like, hey, DM me your information. So I'm grabbing information that way, putting it over into Active Campaign. So I am building and growing a list of people locally, which is like, it's so great. This list is like building like crazy. So I have that. And then I already have, I don't know. I think my private group might be around 200 people, 180, something like that. So it's not huge, but I'm, working on building that. And but it's the engagement, right? So as you know, we don't want that group to go dead. So I'm trying to get in there and at least drop a little bit of something each day, just something of value that they feel like they're a part of this. And another way that I'm growing or I guess gathering data is I'm dropping questions in that I want to know what they're interested in, right? So, hey, what's your favorite jam out song when you work out? Well, that could tell me, okay, there's different playlists, or maybe I could do I don't know, you just start looking at different giveaways and things you can do that revolve around their interests. What's your favorite book? Whatever the top book is, maybe there's maybe I just get a bunch of those books and handwrite something in it and send it to the top 3 people, hey, thanks for participating. Your life is going to change, blah, 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 whatever. So instead of me, because it's always been about what I think people want in my head. It's always been about that. And the shift I've made in the last, few months to a year is that it doesn't matter what I want. It's got to be what they want, right?
Yep.
So that's a big aha moment for me that I think a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we want so badly to give, we know what we know and everybody needs this. You want to give what you have so badly. I think that's why we serve in the capacity we do. But we then have to remember that not everybody wants exactly what you think you want to give. So super important to just gather the data, which is where I'm at right now. Just dropping the questions.
Yeah, groups are great for that. Yeah, love it. Okay, got it. So my recommendation would be just to do something to give a push. So whatever that might be, because I've worked with a lot of clients that have done very similar, and you're gonna, you can either do it slow or fast. That's totally up to you. But I think for you to see the success and feel it, you know what I mean? You want at least, 20 to 50 people, set a goal and see how many, you actually want, and then do something to give a push whether it's like a masterclass, or whether it's a 5-day challenge, there's different things that people do. Let me ask you, so this is, we've been saying this the whole time, and I just realized we haven't really told the audience exactly. This is a Facebook group, correct?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we just keep saying group, assuming, we assume and stuff, but I just want to make sure. Because there's LinkedIn groups, not that they're used as much anymore, but there's other groups, and and some people do it on their own website as well, but it is Facebook groups, which is the commonplace thing nowadays. Okay, good. So what's the Kajabi part for you?
So the Kajabi part is going to be my barrier of protection, if you will. So if you put everything out onto social media, onto those platforms, I don't think Terry's ever been shut down on Facebook, but I know I have. So in fact, I don't know, he might be off Facebook more than he's on Facebook, but so that's going to be my barrier of protection. So the content that I'm going to do will go into Kajabi Evergreen, and then I can put it out onto social media. And then that way that can be, so then if it ever closes down, I've got everybody's contacts. Hey, and then I can filter people into a Kajabi membership. I think and that's one of those layers. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to fit, because literally, Janet, this all is, I was at a seminar this past week, and I'm like, it finally clicked. And I'm like, I have to create these different levels of access, if you will. So I think people want access to us. And again, as entrepreneurs, we tend to want to give away so much of who we are, which is great. I'm willing to give away a lot. However, we also have to like put food on the table and pay the bills. And if we have a level of expertise that people are willing to pay for, then so I can't just be this really super expensive mastermind, which eventually I'd love to do a mastermind, because I think that would be super cool. But let's say it's a 2-day mastermind, and it's, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000, whatever, put a price on it. I don't know what it's going to look like, but so that's a layer. One-on-one coaching, nutrition coaching, that's a layer. Maybe there's a group coaching for people who don't or can't afford the one-on-one coaching. So I'm looking at creating these different layers of access. The free group, first access, and then the $9 group, a little bit more access. So each time you can funnel people, you give them choices to how they can access you. And the more money they pay, the greater access they can have to you. That's really the reality of it. You know, like if you're, you know, I always talk about Jay Abraham, you know, to Terry, you know, if I pay $25,000, I can go sit in Jay Abraham's living room and have a mastermind with him. But he's not going to private message me on Facebook through a free group, you know, like you are paying for access, and you know the quality of that access. So my goal through this process, regardless of the avenue, is make sure that the content I'm putting out there is more than what they're like, it's more than what free, right? So people have to go, man, she's putting some serious stuff in here. I want to know what's in that free group, in the $9 group. And then the $9 group is like, holy moly, what's she putting in that other group? Like, we need to be in there. Oh my God, the mastermind. So the goal is to create the FOMO through all of that. And I don't know how to do the push or the offer that you're talking about. So I would love to have that conversation. What things do you recommend if you want to get people over from the free to that first level paid?
Well, I think your first level,
barrier, right?
Yeah, I think your first level is fine. Exactly what you're doing. It just might take a little bit more time. But then once you're ready for that next step up, then it's time to invest in the advertising. I think at this low level, your ROI isn't big enough. Your return on investment just isn't quite there. You got to look at lifetime value of a customer too, but
sure,
you know, over maybe, you know, if they stick around for a whole year, then, you know, that's obviously a lot more money. But yeah, you need a little bit bigger, you know, once you've got that little, you know, that part built and you know, okay, this is the next level, then you need to take it to the next level with some advertising, you know, so because you can only do so much without the ads. You just, you know, it's like a turtle versus a rabbit.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And that I understand. So my ad account tends to keep getting shut down for whatever reason. I used to use too many exclamation marks and question marks. I realized they don't like when you emote on an ad. I don't know what that is. Like, I'm like, okay, I guess I won't do that. Can I have
You're
my
in the
ad account
medical
back
field,
now,
so yeah, it's maybe something you said or something. Yeah, but believe me, I know about getting shut down, and I know how to overcome it most of the time. So I get it.
Yeah. Well, and to your point about the 5-day challenge, I've done, you know, I get into those. So one of the, and this again, this would be my problem. And because it doesn't work for me, but does it work for everybody else? I don't know, but you get into a 5-day challenge. And I remember one that I did and I loved the content, but he had this, you know, it was like 1 o'clock every day. And I didn't know if he was going to end the course at 2 or 3. And I'm like, dude, you got to give me, you have to say, this is going to be from 12 to 1 every day. Like I can't commit an undeterminate amount of time in the middle of my day for a challenge. There has to be far more definition and structure
Got it.
to
I agree.
the program so that people can plan. You know, they're like, we're working, at least we are all now, I hope, you know, so
Yeah.
so that would be, you know, and then 5 days, I agree with you, 5 days gets a little daunting because then each day we got to have all your homework. And well, you know, some days I have meetings and I won't get home from the office until I can't do the homework every day. So, so I think there's challenges with that and finding that sweet spot. I love the idea of the 1 day challenge or the 1 day mastermind, just chunking it down like that and giving people a smaller amount that they can feel accomplished with, right?
Yeah, exactly. So get them to get them to see something as some sort of accomplishment, and then exactly. That's very good. Now, what happened to Terry?
I don't know. I have no idea. He probably accidentally hit the end button or something.
I'm the recorder, so that's okay.
Oh, good. So did you do your 1 day yet, or are you still ramping up for that?
I'm ramping up for that. I've done other ones in the past too, but webinars just aren't the wording anymore. So like, you know, we call it masterclass, but so that's basically.
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Kind of
Terry
back.
Ruffin is back.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk to our audience about how they can learn more about you. I also want to just review what we talked about. We talked about a lot of different things. Obviously, health and wellness is so important. So important. And, you know, learning more about how you can go the natural way over the drug way is just, you know, I think it's kind of commonplace now, but there's still that turn to the drugs right away, you know? So paying attention to that. And then, so we have that side of things. And then we also talked a lot about like launches and just how to set up your business to further it. What I loved about this is that you are a in-office type person, but you're expanding your business. And so I think that's what a lot of people need to start thinking about, because we don't know if, you know, another round of this craziness could happen again, you know, so you want to cover yourself both ways where you can do your business online and offline. So I love that part of things. So what is the best way for them? What is your group and best way to find out about all your information?
Before we do that, I want to get like a tip, like one thing that we desk workers should absolutely.
With the bad low back.
Okay, all right. So you want the physical tip or I'm going to give you both, because I have two. I have one for the physicality of sitting in a seat all day, and then I have one for our eating habits. So we could do one for nutrition and one for physical, right?
Beautiful.
So the nutrition part, which again we can fall prey to, is never ever is it okay to eat, drink, or consume anything that has artificial sweeteners, flavors, or colors. Those are my top 3 rules. And you have got to read the ingredients, period. So no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or colors. If most people just cut those out of their daily lives, they would feel so much better drinking more water and not drinking fashion waters that have artificial sweeteners, flavors, or colors in them.
Is creamer for coffee? What's that?
Like pure half and half, or?
No, I actually do the almond milk one now.
Yeah. So those have stabilizers in them and usually have some level of preservative. Unless you blend your own almonds, which I blend my own cashews. So I do cashew milk, or I open up a can of coconut cream and I spoon that out. So 100% pure, right? I know, I go that extra step. It's like, yeah.
So how often are you blending cashews? What now?
I don't know. It's super easy to make cashew milk. Half a cup of cashews, cup and a half of water, or 2 cups of water in the Vitamix, and you got cashew milk. Easy peasy. No stabilizers, no, whatever, preservatives, nothing. Pure, done.
I get it. I did celery juice. So I do celery juice, and that's a lot of cutting up and putting it in the thing. And so
you just earned a new nickname. Yeah. A totally new nickname for you. I can't wait. That'll be off there.
I'm afraid now.
All right. So what's
Wait,
the
me
physical?
or Janet? I don't know. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's you,
so the
Paula.
physical, because okay, all right, we're gonna talk after we hang up here. All right, the physical, especially when you're seated all day, the most critical thing is to do the opposite of what you're doing. So if you stand up and just expand your head and your neck and your shoulders out, just do that once every 15 to 20 minutes, you will save the stress that collects at the end of the day. So when you're sitting, blood doesn't flow, everything just tightens. And so frequently standing up and just doing an opening up into the opposite direction of what you're doing on a frequent basis throughout the day. Don't just wait till the end of the day to do that. Do it throughout the day. Keeps the blood flowing, keeps the oxygen going through the muscles. You don't get as tight and tense. The discs in the spine don't get as irritated, and you'll protect your spine and be able to have greater longevity.
I like it. That's cool.
It's like the time Wendy was on and we did the wall sit.
I do remember that. Yes, yes.
Do that.
She said every 15 minutes. I've had a very hard time with 15 minutes though.
I know. That's why you see this. You set your reminder, ding, ding, and you just stand up.
Sometimes I used to do it and then I'd hit ignore because I was in the middle of a project. So
all right, I'll make it super easy for you, right? If you won't stand up, just go like this. Just go like that, and then you're back at it, okay?
I'll be
that was like a nanosecond.
I'll have my desk soon. So that's,
there you go. Yeah.
Awesome. So, okay, so let's talk about where to find you and where to find this free group that you have.
Okay, New Hudson Chiropractic Wellness Center on Facebook, and on there it says join my VIP page. And I'm in a big sparkly outfit and a giant pink chair, and click on that and ask for permission, and I will let you through the gates. So.
Awesome. And then if they're local, if anybody's listening, happen to be listening local, which they might, because, you know, Terry's had the show for a long time, how can they find you? Do you have a website?
Yes. So drruffin.com, drruffin.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Dr. Paula Ruffin, and on Clubhouse at Dr. Ruffin. If anybody's on Clubhouse in the listening vicinity, I know Terry's not. So
Terry's not. Terry refuses.
Till
they open up to the cool kids.
Right? So people can. Yeah, that's right. I know, right? Or till the cool kids get Apple devices. I don't know.
That's can't be the same thing. So it's one or the other.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Terry, close it out.
All right. So you can find all of the past episodes with we don't have many guests as awesome as Dr. Paula Ruffin, but we've had a few really cool ones in the 160 plus times that we've done this. You can find those at businessgrowthtime.com/podcast or /blog if you're into that sort of thing. I don't know. They both seem to direct to the same spot. Or you can join us at our Facebook group, which is businessgrowthtime.xyz. This episode will be airing for a while, and we're really excited to have you check it out. Share it with your friends who need this kind of information. Some great marketing knowledge shared, how to grow a membership group, and those fantastic tips at the end. I love it. Dr. Paula Ruffin, thank you for joining us. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you guys so much. This was awesome. I appreciate you.
Thank you.